Hello and welcome to day 4 of Menopause Matters. Gosh, just see my hair, what a state. Do excuse me, sorry. Anyway, Menopause Matters. So today we are on S. S for sweats, politely called flushes. Not just at night, but during the day as well. We might be getting those, or we might not. As I say, everybody is very different on this journey. So this day in and day out. Not everybody gets all these symptoms, and some people cope better than others, and some people don't get them at all. So all well and good. But just in case, let's do as we've done all the way through and try to manage what symptoms come up. So we've got sweats, stress, and sleep, or rather disturbed sleep, or not enough sleep. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. As I say at the beginning of most of my videos, when I'm talking about a wider subject that I'm not qualified in, I will give examples of my experience. I am not a doctor, so for anything medical, please, please, please consult somebody who is medically trained. Okay, so some tips and tricks to cope with those sweats. What I have found really helped, and actually it's a really nice refreshing detox as well. I use quite a lot of the citrusy type fruit teas. I tend to make my own. I like to slice a piece of lemon and a sliver of ginger and pop that into a teapot with not quite boiling water and let that brew for at least 10 minutes. And you know what? It's great because you can top it up through the day and have it cold if you want to, or you can tip it into a bottle, top it up and take it with you on the go. So absolutely brilliant. And it gradually, those benefits of those properties in the tea will seep into your body and start to calm it down a little bit. Peppermint as well. Now, again, I tend to go and get my own mint from the garden. Make sure it's washed because you never know what might have gone on it in the night time or through the day or whatever. So rinse it through, shake it rather than dry it so that you're not taking any of the healing properties out of it. But again, you can add that to your lemon and ginger. It doesn't really matter. Some people put peppermint and cucumber. Pop it in the fridge and have iced peppermint and cucumber water. Entirely up to you. If you are getting the flushes, the sweats day and night, then it is worth keeping something in the fridge to hand, or even have it in several bottles so you're getting that hydration that you need anyway. Even if you're not menopausal or perimenopausal, you need that hydration in your body. And as we age, you need even more, really, so that it circulates the oxygen around your body and helps with that waste flush, which we talked about earlier in the week. So that's the sort of drinks that I would recommend. As we said earlier, for health in general, really, best to steer clear of carbonated drinks and anything with caffeine in. There's such a wide range of teas available now and coffees that are caffeine free, but word of warning, do just make sure you read that label. And if you can, avoid tea bags that are in plasticized bags. Again, lots that aren't. A little bit more expensive, but then what price health? So have a look at those. Just looking down at my list, because even the best of us need a list, don't we? Well, I'm a list person, as I said earlier. So wearing natural fibres, I tend to wear, like this is a cotton one. And again, yes, they are more expensive, but you know what? I've had this fat face top. It must be 10 or 11 years. And most times that I wear it now, people say, I like your top. It's not faded and it's still really nice and fresh. And I've got used to wearing natural fibres wherever I can now. The only problem is they do need ironing, but again, it's worth it, ladies. It really is. Obviously, sweats along with all the other symptoms, avoid the foods and add the foods that we talked about earlier, and you'll find that the combination of the foods and drinks that you are adding and the foods and drinks that you are avoiding, so the starchy carbs, etc., you'll find that they will help all of your symptoms, but particularly before you go to bed at night. A lot of people tend to have a carb thinking it's quite a nice idea, a cup of tea and a biscuit before they go to bed, or a cracker. Well, yes, when you're a child and you're burning up all that energy because you've got all those memories that you're making and all those brain functions are developing. But as you get older, actually, you don't need them so much. So try and leave them off if you can. Now, I know you might find this a strange thing. And those of you who know me know that I have a blooming awful dog allergy, which I've developed over the years. And the one thing that I found really helped me in my bed, and I think I mentioned it earlier, is a dog cooling gel pad. Available on Amazon, and I tell you what, so good. In the very hot weather, I tend to fold mine up and put it in the fridge. Don't get yours confused with the dogs though, will you? Because you don't want your dog cooler in the fridge. Not really. Okay, but seriously, really good idea. I tend to have mine on top of the sheet so that when it starts to warm up, I can bung it out the bed. And a bit later on, I'll probably fetch it back in because it's still cool being gel. But some people have it under their sheet, under the top sheet. It's really a matter of playing about. But I think mine was sort of $10.99 on Amazon. So, you know, it's a worthwhile investment and something that you can probably sell on once you finish it, because there will always be people who want something for their dogs. So again, a worthwhile investment. Or ask if anyone's selling one, preferably again not one that's been used by a dog. You know, good old hand fan, not an electrical battery one that you whiz and annoy everybody else with, just a fan. You know, one that you open up, the old Spanish fan. I had one at my side when I was going through the worst of my menopause, and I did get quite hot, and I was teaching. So rather than have the sweat dripping off my nose when I was really busy with students looking at their work in the hot weather, much nicer to have a fan and perhaps a dry flannel just to mop your face if needs be. And I always actually had a wash at lunchtime because I felt, I didn't know if I had body odour, but I certainly didn't want it. Not with the students. I didn't want them thinking, oh God, smelly teacher. No. Those of you who know me again will know that I'm a big fan of cold water swimming anyway, but this was a godsend while I was having symptoms. Just wonderful. And I encouraged a lot of my ladies to come with me, and we used to go down and have such fun. And it's not about getting in and swimming lengths. It's not at all about that. All you need to do is just wade in as and when at your own rate and dunk if you can. Enjoy that feeling of feeling cool. Come out, if it's the winter, obviously, get towel dried and get dressed. If it's the summer, hang around, go back in as and when, but really super. And what you find actually that going through this stage, our heart rate increases because the estrogen and the progesterone are unbalanced. Oh dear, sorry, I've got the sun going through my face. Might be an improvement, but I'll move across. Anyway, so yeah, the estrogen and the progesterone are unbalanced. So what that does is increase our heart rate. So our body's thermostat goes a bit all over the place. It's a bit like doing that with a thermostat guide on your boiler. So you become much more sensitive as your blood vessels open and your sweat glands are affected. They have to open to cool your body. So again, unlike a baby who hasn't got that facility, most of the heat comes out through their fontanelle, their posterior and anterior fontanelle. Well, of course, ours is quite small by the time we're in our 50s, 60s, 70s. So we sweat more. But even so, I found that having a cool shower at the end of my hair wash, just letting it run down me, was just sublime, especially again through the summer. And also on Christmas Day, I remember dashing upstairs and just getting under the shower. It was just glorious, really, really wonderful to feel that. I felt as though steam was coming off me. But it was really, really, really nice. So if you're not a cold water swimmer or you don't want to bare your body in front of people or whatever your reasons, cold shower does as well. In the summer, just lean forward, stick your head under, take the shower off the wall if you can, and just get under the cold water. Now the phytogens also decrease. So you want something that's going to replenish those. Things like black cohosh have been recommended. The research, the jury's still out on that, but anything is worth a try. It might work for you. Ashwagandha is a newbie, particularly for those who have the additional bugbear of fibromyalgia, because it helps with the pain and it helps with the fog, the brain fog. And again, menopausal brain fog is a bit of a nuisance sometimes, so ashwagandha might help you. Milk thistle, because the milk thistle helps with your hormone balance, so it can reduce your mood swings and your anxiety, but also good for detoxing as well. So a nice little combination there. And again, you get all sorts, but it's really worth going to a good health food shop and asking about that. And I don't mean Holland and Barrett, I mean going to somebody who has a really good grounding in what they're selling. I personally don't buy off Amazon because sometimes you're not sure what's been packed, and some of the research that's gone into that has not been favourable. So I tend to avoid Amazon. Similarly, you can go to a good supplement provider where there are liver health capsules which do the same thing. So cleaning out your liver will help balance things. Maca root. Now, the maca root and the sage leaves are goodies as well, because they help both with the sweating and with the sleep. So really worth doing that. I tend to use Synergy Phytolife, which it's in the title, isn't it? You know, Phytolife, which is totally natural, plant-based, and it's got peppermint in, so of course you've got that cooling, and it tastes nice. So they're just some ideas for you. The other thing I quite like, and this works for both your sweat and again your sleep. So the Sleep Deep Cocoon, this one's by This Works. Now I've tried a few of them, but I quite like this. It goes in nicely, and again, if you've got a double whammy where you've got fibromyalgia or arthritis or something like that, that's really good. I recommend that one. I like that one. My daughter bought it first actually as a gift, so it was a win-win for me. Really nice. Okay, we'll move on to the sleep now. Now, a lot of our sleep disturbances are due to sweating, if you sweat in the night. But the other things that are happening, obviously, are as we age, we keep saying the estrogen and the progesterone is depleting and becomes so unbalanced that it can lead to a sort of a sleep apnea. I'm not saying people get sleep apnea necessarily, but because our airways aren't so open as they were, we don't get that deep sleep necessarily. We're tossing and we're turning and tend to snore a little bit more. So I know It's not something you really should admit online, but I am doing. I know sometimes I've snored and woken myself up. So, you know, taking precautions to avoid that is really good. Find a good pillow so that you're comfortable. You can get some really nice cooling pillows as well. So worth a look into those. You can go into, is it DreamWorks, I think, and try them out. So worth going in and having a look at that. The other thing I got was a new mattress. Now, I got this mainly for fibromyalgia, but it's called Iced Tempura or something like that. It's one that the Olympic athletes used and found it to be cooling. And although it's a tempura type thing, it is it tempura or tempera? Well, whatever, you know what I mean. It doesn't heat up, so it doesn't add to your sweats, and it doesn't necessarily settle to your body. So it's constantly movable but gentle on the bones. So if you're a bit more achy and concerned about osteoporosis and those sorts of things, worth having a look at those. Again, we got ours from DreamWorks, very, very, very helpful. And I think we went back 2 or 3 times. And one day I actually lay on it for about half an hour, went to have a cup of coffee, went back and have another lay down. So I really made sure it was what I wanted. Although there are other shops that allow you to try free and send back if it doesn't suit. So there's lots of options there. Again, they cost money, which not everyone can spare. So it might be worth looking at a topper. But just some suggestions there. Just going to check my list here. Right, okay. Obviously, we go back to our citrus fruits, because the citrus fruits lower the stress, which we discussed earlier in emotions, and excuse me, are nice and light before you go to bed. One thing that was recommended by a menopause coach that I was speaking with was to get a blood count and just check that you're not depleted in any vitamins that might be preventing you from sleeping. And one of the supplements that I recommend is B6, because B6, magnesium, zinc, those sorts of things, because they help balance out and they help ease your emotions and your stress levels and deal with cramps, muscle cramps, twitches, and those sorts of things that can come with your restless legs. So all of those supplements are worth looking into. Please, please, please don't just go out and buy all these. Try things out before you go and spend any money. Try the more natural, easily accessible at the supermarket type things first. And there again, a word of advice, please, please, please don't buy your supplements at a supermarket. Yes, they're cheap, but it's because they've got the minimum required quantity in to allow them to sell them. Not all of them, but very many of them. So again, go to your health food shop or ask a nutritionist for their advice. Interestingly, some research that's been done lately by Menopause UK and also the states have agreed upon this, is that really, as we age, we should be looking at doing our exercise before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so that our muscles have got time to balance out and so that our body and our nutrition within our body is at maximum to be absorbed. So that's worth a thought as well. Having said that, I do like to do a few stretches just before I go to bed to try and avoid those muscle cramps. And it also helps ease any pain that's going on. But then I'm the other side of menopause. So, and to be honest, I can't remember whether I did that when I was going through the actual menopause. I can't remember. But it is advised now that you do your exercise earlier, if at all possible. Biggie. Now, I'm just going to lean forward here. And again, those of you who know me quite well will know what I think of technology, phones and such like. Yes, they have their places, but I never, never, never have my phone in my bedroom, and I always use a clock, an alarm clock. One that doesn't tick, so that it doesn't keep me awake, and it doesn't keep my husband awake either. I am just going to move my screen here because I realise I'm very much in this sun that's come unexpectedly. That's a bit better, isn't it? Okay. So, yeah, use a clock. Turn your screens off at least an hour before you go to bed. You've all heard about the research. I know you have. I'm not going into that. You don't need me to. But certainly during the menopausal stages and the perimenopausal stages, just do without your screens. And the other thing, get one of these. Never mind making notes on your phone. Get one of these. Get a piece of paper. Anything that you suddenly think of before you go into bed, jot it down so that you don't forget it in the morning, but you don't have to deal with it straight away. So you've offloaded your brain before you go to bed. Try and have a routine and stick to that routine. Try and keep your bedtimes within half an hour of going, try and keep it steady. Obviously, I'm not saying don't go out and enjoy an evening and that sort of thing, but wherever possible, try and keep a routine going. There's a couple of good apps, and again, this is just my personal recommendation or preference, if you like. One is called Stella. Now, she's really good. She looks at sleep issues in quite some depth, and she will offer personalised plans. There are some free ones, but she does do personalised ones if you want, and they're not too expensive. But then a freebie is from Dr. Louise Newton, and hers is called, should have written it down, Balance App. And she's worth a look at as well. Really nice relaxation, mindfulness, to calm the mind, calm the stress, to help with your sleep. So we're sort of doubling up with the E for emotions here, aren't we? And the N for nervousness and anxiety. So these things all overlap. And that's why I like to take a holistic approach, which is what I'm trying to do. So I do hope that you found this useful. Also today is Kate Wilson, who is a menopause coach, has been for many years, and is also an exercise instructor, has been for many years. So she's got lots and lots of experience, but she's very kindly shared her tips for sleep, and I've popped them into my private Facebook group, which I hope you find useful. Anyway, thank you very much for watching yet again. And as always, I'm Anne, you know where I am, that rhymes. And if you want to know anything, please ask. If I don't know, I can possibly signpost you. If you need any medical advice, please consult your GP nurse practitioner or your doctor or a pharmacist. And you should be fine managing the changes of the menopause. All right, I will see you tomorrow, and tomorrow we will be looking at exercise and energy. And then the final day will be Saturday, where I will be popping lots of information about diet and nutrition, and specifically just diet and nutrition where you can go to the supermarket and manage your Christmas a little bit less stressfully. All right, so I will hopefully see you tomorrow, and all I can say is have a lovely day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.